老師、各位申請人士來臨今日嘅新書發佈會。我哋今日好榮幸邀請到我哋新加坡嘅出版商 I Love Reading 嚟同我哋去分享3本新書嘅，包括係 I Love Inspire 同 I Think 嘅。咁 I Love Reading 自2009年成立，一直提供唔同嘅優質刊物啦，咁係服務新加坡同埋亞洲區嘅學校同埋學生嘅。今日我哋邀請咗 I Love Reading 嘅 founder 同埋 publisher 嘅 Mr. Nixon， 同埋我哋嘅 Chief Editor Miss Shoba 同我哋分享翻呢3本雜誌嘅好處啦，同埋喺教學上嘅應用嘅。首先我哋邀請 Mr. Nixon。
係，大家好。Yeah, a very good morning. 大家好。Yeah, a very good morning. I'm so honored to be here. My name is Nixon, and I'm the founder and the publisher for I Love Reading. We started our business since 2009, and we have always looking out for quality materials to serve the community. Now, let's look at what is happening right now. Typically in Singapore, I'm so honored to be here. My name is Nixon, and I'm the founder and the publisher for I Love Reading. We started our business since 2009, and we have always looking out for quality materials to serve the community. Now, let's look at what is happening right now. Typically in Singapore, we have a challenge. Students is just not reading enough. What is the key reason? I guess it is one of the key reasons was the social media has been really affecting students a lot. They've been spending too much time looking at the mobile phones, yet not quality time on reading. Yeah? So if we have students that are not so cultivated in reading, and suppose it will be posting a call order for teachers like you to teach a language. Yes? And we strongly believe that to provide a good quality reading material, it must be very engaging, it must be very entertaining, and lastly, it must be very educational. Yeah? And that's why we call this an edutainment. And this is why we are here. Yes. Okay. I'd like to walk you through what we have. I was designed to add a lot of value for the upper primary or the lower secondary students. If you look at the brand, I and it is never doubt, we really want to portray self-confidence, high esteem among the students. So each issue is diverse. We have multiple sub-themes within the content. We have arts, we have sports, we have science, we have technology, and many interesting sub-themes. Next, we have Inspire. Okay, this is specially designed for the mid-secondary from the lower to the mid-secondary. If you look at the tagline, Amazing Stories, each issue will have two amazing stories to inspire the students. Again, this has a diverse sub-themes within each issue. And the next one we have I Think. And if you look at the tagline, it says Beyond Boundaries. So we really want the students to think beyond boundaries, to look beyond what they are reading. So emphasize a lot of critical thinking skills. So each of I Think is a thematic. So what it means to you is every issue covers a specific theme. Okay? So we have identity before, we have sports and games, idols and heroes, and many other themes available. So look at the cover, okay? Put in a lot of efforts to make this work for the students. We don't want just them to read a content and just purely text. We really want to entertain and engage them visually and many other ways. Okay, all the content that we have designed, the key thing is this: we like to add a lot of values. Firstly, we provide reading. Okay, we cover the speaking skills. We have the writing skills, the representing skills, and as well as the listening skills. Okay, so all the content when we design, we will have all these 5 skills within the magazine. My colleague Shoba will go very in depth later into all these 5 skills and how these 5 skills can add value in the classroom environment. I'd like to highlight to you the team behind the content. Okay, my chief editor Shoba, That's her? Yes. She has many years of teaching experience just like you. Formerly head of department in English. She heads the department for more than 10 over years. Yeah. We also have our copy editor. Okay. She was a former English teacher, a master language teacher. So she is the one also helping us to make sure the content specially structured for the students. Yeah. We have a team of writers. They are mainly teachers, specially written for students. We also have guest writers and students writers. Okay. Our content design as such that we cover a full range of text types. Okay. For example, we have descriptive, we have expository, we have the personal recount, we have narrative, argumentative, and the hybrid text. Okay. So these are some of my examples. Okay, if you look at the first left-hand corner, we have the I magazine. Okay, you look at the color, it has a blue star on top. It means these are the more advanced reading article. And of course, we have Center, which is our Inspire magazine. So we featured true amazing stories to inspire students. And lastly, we have I Think. Okay, we go into critical thinking skills more. Okay, we have an article on argumentative, which cover is pop trash now. Would you agree on this? Yep. The listening skills. What we do is we have embedded QR codes into the content, so students or teachers can use their mobile phones to scan on the QR code. Instantly, the audio track will be played for the student. So this will enhance your listening skills as well. Apart from that, we also introduce a QR code that links to YouTube videos so that the content is very interrelated. And if students would like to do a lot of research about certain topics, they can go further into what we have put out for them, okay, the content. Next, we encourage the speaking skills within the content. What we do is we have some questions that is very in line with the oral skills and present to the students and for them to interact with the teachers or their peers. Okay. So some of the questions that we design, it has a meaning and deliberate. If you look at the first questions, it asks you the questions relating to the image. If you look at the second questions carefully, it asks you about your community effects. And the last question always linked to a global perspective. So as a student, they really have to read more so that they are able to converse and interact with the teachers or the students or their friends. Apart from the content that we have designed, okay, we have put in a lot of efforts to design a lot of resources to add lots of values to the article. So if you look at the back of the sample that we have inserted in the goodie bag, we have the comprehension skills, we have the grammar editing skills, we have summary, writing skills, and in terms of the writing skills, we go very in-depth into the structures and the design, yeah, for the students to pick up as an example. Apart from that, we have integrated social studies skills. In this instance, in Hong Kong, it is your liberal studies skills, like questions like this. Other features that we found in the content, this is a very popular segment called the Tweet Me and the Model Me, whereby students in Singapore, they write essays to us. We commented on their strengths and the weaknesses, and we make over for them. So we have received more than 500 scripts over the year. So students are very happy to see their work being published, and very happy to see the kind of role model essays that is being featured in the content. So last year, we are one of the finalists in Singapore as the best educational title. And these are some of the comments from the teachers. Okay, we have teachers from Singapore schools, the international schools. They commented that the content has been very relevant. And this is another comment from Serangoon Garden Secondary School. Here we have more comments from other schools, Fajar Secondary Schools, And in Singapore, we have a Muslim community under this Madrasah Isha, and other Muslim schools. This is a comment from a student. Personally, she likes our content very much and how it helps them to further enrich their language learning. This is from Dunman High School, a student from Sec 1. In this case, this is your lower form Sec 1. Last year this time, we have met a teacher from Hong Kong. She has made a purchase for some of the magazine, and after that he wrote to us and he was very impressed by our content. We are so honored by his comment. In Singapore, we are very honored because why? Some of the content here has been used to set exam questions. This is one of the samples. It was being extracted from IT issue number 3. This is on the idols and heroes. And in Singapore, more than 50% of the schools has been using our content for their reading program material. Here are some of the schools that is working with us very closely. So the reading strategy, okay. So what happened is we really encourage schools in Hong Kong to set aside 20 minutes of reading time, okay. Teachers can engage the students by conducting a discussion based on the topic of the interest. Because in our content we cover a variety of different articles, different themes. So there will be some articles definitely will be current and is very relevant to the local. So we also encourage teachers to set projects based on what they have read, as well as to build a strong reading culture within the school. For primary school, we recommend I and the Inspire. Okay, this is your upper primary level. And for secondary, we know you have band 1, 2, and 3. So for the lower secondary band 1, we recommend Inspire. Okay. For the upper secondary band 1, we will recommend iThink. And for band 2 school, we have the I or Inspire. And for the upper secondary, we will recommend iThink and Inspire. And for band 3, for the lower secondary, we will recommend I, followed by Inspire. So this is just our recommendation, but really depending on the ground, really depending on the student's ability. Yeah. So you can mix and match your reading needs. So what it means to you is within a level, we recommend different publications for their reading ability. And you can mix between 4 to 8 issues at their curriculum timing. These are some of the images that we have collected from Singapore. The first image is we have conducted a focus group discussion with the students in Singapore. And the reason why we do so is we like to go further, we like to find out more the reading ability, the interest of the students, and that's why we come up with the themes that is reflected in the content. And these are some of the images we have taken in last year Hong Kong Book Fair from Hong Kong students. So in summary, okay, the content specially designed for students, written by teachers, cover all the 5 important skills: reading, writing, speaking, listening, and representing. And I will be more like an elementary content. Inspire was something that is intermediate, and I think will be the advanced level. I will pass the mic to Shoba. She will walk you through how the content can be effectively used in the classroom environment. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Allow me to take you through how you can actually use these magazines in the classroom itself. Thank you. Without having to, do it at a separate time. Let's take a look at how we can look at this, yeah? This can actually become a very powerful resource, not just for the students, but also for the teachers. Now let's just think of this as something like providing students with like a full course meal. So first, for a full course meal, you'll need what you call the appetizer. So as an appetizer, in our lesson plan, we call this the pre-activity. So as a pre-activity, we can use the magazine as a hook to hook the students to get them interested in a topic so that you can go on and have effective learning take place. So for example, we have a variety of topics like what Vincent has already mentioned, from a range of bullying to discrimination to serious topics and also lighter ones. And with this, we actually have follow-up thinking questions that will actually help to stimulate the thinking for the students. So it actually stimulates discussion because it makes them think. These questions are specially crafted. They are not just put in there. We actually put in quite a bit of effort to think about the kind of questions that we can actually put in to stimulate discussions. And we have relevant YouTube videos to hook them as well, because today's students, you know how they are, alright? Then you can't just give them the text and ask them to say, go read. We need to hook them somehow. And so that's how these, which are related to the articles itself, of course. And we also have info bites. Info bites are these small bits of information that are spread around the magazine. I'll show you this a little later. Another thing that we also have is this thing called Reads and Flicks. We have this in our magazines. These Reads and Flicks are actually recommended reads based on the particular topic or theme, and flicks means recommended movies or films. So in this case, actually we had a feature on music. So we actually recommend some reads on music for both fiction and non-fiction, as well as movies on music for the teens, on the kind of movies. So this actually gets them interested and sees how relevant language is really to reality and how hip or cool it can be really. It's not just about text alone. And of course, we also have language tips. So this is taken from iThink. As you can see, right, we actually cover a couple of things like in a very attractive way. So what you see here, we see on the left-hand side is actually idioms on conflict. Conflict happened to be one of our themes in iThink. And so this was actually, idioms, and we actually provide this information for them and some tips. And this one on the right is actually commonly misused words. Like, is the word disinterested and uninterested, isn't it the same? No, they're not, right? So how do I use it well? So these are those fine distinctions that we try to, make. Something like fewer and less as well. Again, these words are used interchangeably. So some quick tips. And this is from the Inspire and I magazines. We also have language games for those students who prefer something that's more hands-on. Maybe for students who are maybe language proficiency-wise a little lower, we also have games for them to try out, to being word search and crossword puzzles and even idioms that comes along the way. And we also have something more formalized like language editing. So this one actually goes into the nuts and bolts of the language. Like for example, the tenses. We test the tenses, the use of prepositions. Is it supposed to be at or is it supposed to be in? So all this kind of nitty-gritty stuff, which by the time they're in secondary school, they don't really have a chance to formally talk about it or to learn about it. So we actually cover this here as well. And now let's go to the main course. So the main course, let me start off with oral and listening. These are the things that comes out for the exam, right? Like for the DSE as well, just like us. We, as you already would have realized, we actually have these oral recordings. So the students can actually use these oral recordings as good models of reading. And we are very careful about the use of the voice talents. We make sure that the pronunciation is correct. And we actually go through some editing. So we have professionals who do this recording for us. This is an example of the listening article. You can actually see the QR code. Of course, the text is longer than this. This is only page 1. Okay, so with the QR code, they will be listening to this. And this is the worksheet. So as we have already mentioned, we also provide worksheets. So this is an example of a worksheet. We have different types. In this case, this is a graphic organizer. We also have the fill in the blanks and so on. So this is just an example. This is an oral article. Again, this has a QR code. This is something on selfie. And we have accompanying picture that's related to the theme of the reading itself. So this is actually on selfies and what do you think about taking refies and what is your opinion and do you think social media, putting up photos, is it good? So these are all thinking questions conversation, for conversation purposes. Now, let's go on to the next item in the main course, the reading comprehension. That is the reading paper, which I believe is paper 1 for DSE. So we use, as you can see, many of our articles in there, they are actually used as comprehension texts. They may not look like the comprehension text as first class, but they really are. So we actually attractively design it such that it looks like an article, but it really is a proper comprehension text which we very thoughtfully do. And if you look at the questions in the text, the questions are probably can be found at the end of the magazine. They closely follow the DSE paper as well. So it also includes tips for the students. If you also look at the questions, we don't just provide questions, we provide tips for certain so-called more difficult questions for the students. And the teacher's guide comes not only with answers, but with teaching pointers. So it actually gives some suggestions about what kind of errors the students will probably make, what we need to look out for, just our humble suggestions though. And of course we have word bank at the end. Now you'll also realize, right, our word meanings, we don't splash it right in front of the article. This is purposefully done. We do not want the students to think, oh, this is just another textbook. You know, oh, look at the meaning, oh, it's such a put off. We want them to have the feel of an article, like reading a magazine. But yet, we understand that they have problems with understanding the meanings of the words. So we do provide the meanings right at the end of the article. So it's annotated in superscripts. So they do get a chance to understand, but not in your face kind of thing. Yeah. This is an example of an article from I Think. This is on the refugee crisis in Germany, especially during the peak of that time. This is an example of an article from Inspire. This one is actually something on having a longer lifespan. So what if you could live until 150? So is this a good thing really? You know, or what are some of the issues that pop up? So this is just an article. I just wanted to point out something. Remember I was telling you that as a hook, we also use info bytes. So if you look at this corner, alright, this is an example of info byte. It may be a little small for you to really see, but basically what this is like a did you know kind of thing. Hey, did you know that the average life expectancy is 84? And if you look there, it is written actually that in Hong Kong, people in Hong Kong have the longest life expectancy in the world. This is according to the World Economic Forum. So these are some small, just teeny weeny bites that get students interested. Oh, what is this about? And then they get to read. So this is just another attempt to hook them. This is an example of an article in I. If you realize as I'm going through one slide to the other for the comprehension text, it is lower and lower in text difficulty, purposefully to cater to the students because they all have different language proficiency. This is an example of our worksheets. Allow me to bring you through the types of reading questions. Alright. The first type of reading questions is often the simpler ones, the content questions. I don't know if you call it literal questions here. So example of this is like this. You have a question like this, someone gives a comment. Can you identify two examples? So when you identify, it's basically lifting from the passage to a certain extent, lifting that part of the answer, but just writing your own words. So this is an example of that. Another type of question we have, language use questions. Now this is the kind like, what does the last phrase suggest about the writer's attitude about something? So like attitudinal words. What do you suggest about the attitude? What do you suggest about the tone? What do you suggest about the mood? So these are a bit higher level. So we cover these kind of questions just like it would. You do see it in your exam papers as well. Vocabulary questions. Pick out a word that has similar meaning to something. Inferential questions. Definitely we can't run away from this. Like why do you think the researchers believe the boy and so on. So why do you think being the trigger? So very, very similar questions basically. We can't go very wrong with this because these are the kind of questions students have to tackle for reading comprehension anyway. The next main course is essays, right? So essays, your paper 2. So how about writing? We do cover that fair bit as well. And we don't just cover a certain type, we cover many different types, right? So in this case, we have model essays written by experts, our teachers, as well as professional writers. So in this case, we have a variety, narrative, descriptive, discursive, argumentative, and so on. Let me just give you an example. This is an essay. This is actually short story. So it's fiction writing. So this is actually about idol and so on. This is an argumentative essay about athletes. So a career as a full-time athlete is not feasible. Do you agree? So this is actually, it is actually a proper essay, looking like an article, camouflaged as an article, but it's a proper essay where students can pick out the features, which I'll show you in a while. This is a discursive and expository essay on fashion, how fashion and culture may actually be not as far as you think it might be. Alright, so this is an article on that. And this is a model essay on hybrid. Yes, this is hybrid. Now often for essays, it's not always a certain type, like argumentative or narrative, not so clean. Sometimes a mix of two different types. For example, it can be argumentative and a bit of personal narrative and so on. So we actually cover these complex ones as well. So this is an example of that. Like what fashion means to me. It's expository, but it's also quite personal. So it's a mix of both. So we don't just stop there, we provide them with notes. So we actually help you to analyze the structure. Like it's very easy to write and say, oh la, this is a good essay, go look, right? But what makes it a good essay? So we actually tease it out. So we look at the structures, like we tell them what are different structures, what are different paragraphs, what should it be there. In argumentative essay, topic, sentence, what is your stand, and so on and so forth. In some cases, they help to fill in the blanks as well. So students also have the activity going on. Another section that we have is actually an interesting one. We actually have a section as what Nixon actually already mentioned, is student essays. So this is it's true, students and teachers love this. We know this personally because when we had discussion with students and teachers, they actually gave this quite a fat thumbs up. Okay, so here we actually have model essays by students. That means students send us the essays, we publish those that are really good, and we also have tweak essays. There are essays that are, they're quite good, but not quite there. So we give them that little push. Alright, let me show you. This is an example of this is an example of a tweak essay. So this is the one on the left. It's a little small for you to see, sorry, but on the left, this is the original essay from the students. And if you look on this right-hand column, is actually editor comments. That means we provide comments. We start off by telling them what is quite good about your essay, which is why we are publishing it. But then, it really needs quite a fair bit of work. Maybe, we need to tweak on your tenses, your spelling, maybe your sentence structure, your choice of word. So we talk about all this. And then, on here, we help them to tweak the essay and we publish the modified essay as well. That means we help them to modify the essay so that it looks better. So we help them to see, so this is the kind of errors that others are making too. So the students feel they can relate to this. And of course, we have students who write very well and we want to also showcase that. And we don't just publish the essay, we tell them why it's good. So the students know, that's why this essay is doing so well, right? Okay, so we tell them, because of the use of their style. Look at the style. So it's color-coded. You can't see very well here, sorry, because it's a black background. But it's color-coded, so it's like they have style. So, use of precise words, use of active, verbs and descriptions, so adjectives. So what is it that makes this essay very good? Okay, so we actually, different essays will have different strengths. So we try to highlight this as much as we can. Great. Now, finally, we have something called situational writing. I'm not quite sure what you call this here, but I think it's all about writing letters, speeches, newsletter articles. This is what I mean. For all this, we have purpose, audience, context. So I think this is something that all of us teachers can relate to. Yeah. So this is an example of an email. So this is the example. It is actually just an email. It's written, excuse me, by the. It's an informal. It's like an informal letter and an email. This is a proposal. This one on the right is the proposal, the letter. This is just a stimulus. The question is here. And this is a speech. Alright, so this is a newsletter article. Alright, so this is the newsletter part. So we have all the byline, the subheadings and whatever features. And this is again our worksheet. So we help them to tease out to see what is it that you need to look into. Is it okay? Right. So what is it that you need to look into to ensure, for example, in this case, it's actually, this is actually a letter. a formal letter. So we look at the format and we have on the right hand side some comments about what are the things you need to look out for. So basically analysis, analysis. Sorry. Finally, desserts. Right, we are ending our meal. So what is the dessert that you get at the end? At the end, we have effective learning because we have engaged students and satisfied teachers. Right, thank you so much. I'll pass it on to our colleague from MI.